Hello, welcome to part 2 of my Can I Read 30 Books in 30 Days reading vlog challenge. The answer, which we probably already know, but we're going to press on ahead with anyway. It's the 26th today and I have read so far 11 books. However, I'm in the process of reading 3 today already, 2 of which I know I'm going to finish and 1 is an audiobook. So the first one of these is Daphnis and Chloe, which is like a pastoral Greek myth, and that's very short. I'll finish that very soon. I'm also reading on my Kindle, which I can show you, but obviously isn't very interesting, Summer Water by Sarah Moss, which is a proof, like an advanced copy, which I got sent, which I'm really enjoying. I think it's supposed to come out in August, but I'm not sure if it still is now, what with everything what's been going on, and I'm loving that. I really enjoy Sarah Moss's writing, and it's about all these different families who are on holiday in Scotland around a loch, and it's just raining. It's like in August or something, it's just raining and they're in these log cabins, like this like campsite, and it's just about them sort of coping with that and doing nothing and seeing all the other people, and I'm really loving it. It's so British and I love the way that she writes families and relations, and I enjoy her voice, and yeah, I'm just loving jumping from person to person and seeing how they're coping with this kind of washed out summer holiday. And I'm also still listening to, on Audible, Isabella by Alison Weir, but I'm really close to the end of this now. This was quite a difficult audiobook for me to listen to. If you saw my last vlog, you'd know that I was kind of struggling with it because it was just very heavy and full of facts. But I've got about 4 hours left of it now and I'm really enjoying it. Like the last sort of third I've really liked, because I think we've got away from just a list of facts and into like the real action of what was happening. I had no idea about this history. So Isabella was the wife of Edward II, if you don't know, and I didn't realise what a crap king he was, like completely weak and enthralled to different favourites who he was probably having affairs with, like throughout his reign. And then and she just deposed him and was like, absolutely not, we're not going to have you on the phone anymore, we'll have my son. And then there was all the rumours, which I had heard but hadn't really put together, that Edward II was killed with a hot poker up his bum, and I have heard that as a rumour, but I didn't really put 2 and 2 together that obviously the king was killed by someone, you know, so therefore it was like a deposition, like a revolution. And they're just going through that now, like this idea of whether how he was killed, if he was murdered, number 1, who ordered the murder, and how he might have been murdered, and whether the hot poker really happened, which is probably not. And then also this idea that maybe he escaped. Like, it's so fascinating, and I'm really pleased I kept going with the audiobook, because there's so many parts of it you just can't believe are based on fact. Like, for example, at one point when the king's favourite, Hugh, was like banished because all the earls were like, you cannot have this man in your court anymore, I don't want him there. He just became a pirate in the English Channel for a bit while he was banished from England, and then the king was like, I'll just come back, like, I don't want you. Like, what is this? As if this is real life. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm pleased I kept on with it. I don't think it works very well as an audiobook. That's my takeaway from this. I think it would have worked better if I just read it. But I'm very glad to be learning about these people and this story. So that is my reading plans for this morning. I think I'll finish these quite quickly, and then this afternoon I've got a live video that I'm shooting, just a sort of Q&A and catch up, so I'll do that. I've been meaning to film another video as well this whole weekend and I just haven't, but I think once I've started with the live, I might go on and film another video. And after that, we're just chilling. So the 26th, that means I've got 4 more days after today to finish my challenge. I might give myself an extra day and roll into the 31st of July, because why not? What's one extra day? But to be fair, you know, once I've read these 3 today, I'll be at 14 books, and that's like basically halfway. And I was thinking at the beginning of this challenge, if I get halfway, then I will have done really well. So if I do more than 15, I'll be pleased. I'll be pleased with how this challenge has gone. So I'm gonna sit and read a little bit more, maybe finish some of these, and then yeah, set myself up for my videos.
thought it was in my... well, that was in my headphones, sorry.
Hello! Right, hopefully this is going to work okay. We've got the option to go back into the office, but I was a bit like, I don't know. Like at first I was like, yes, sign me up. And when they said, yeah, you can come in on Wednesday, I was like, oh, I don't think I'm ready. I don't want to go in on Wednesday. Like mostly because I genuinely don't actually fit into my work clothes anymore. When I've had to put them on for Zoom meetings, I've been like, wow, okay. Whew, so that was a good hour of kind of Q&A and chatting. That was fun. And then I also just filmed another video just now as well, which was some very English books, which I thought was a nice theme. Yeah, so I'm just going to relax now. I finished Daphnis and Chloe and what's it called, Summer Water, earlier this afternoon, so that was great. Summer Water I really, really loved. Very similar to Ghost Wall, and I can see kind of how that built in terms of drama, I guess, and plot towards the end of it. So really enjoyed that. And Daphnis and Chloe was just so nice. It was just like nice myth fairy tale, really sweet, and just a tale of two lovers who don't really know how to make love, basically. That was quite cute. So I'm just going to sit down now before dinner, and I'm going to start Mr. Loverman by Bernadine Nevaristo, because a lot of people on the live just now were talking about they were reading it and loving it, and yeah, I'm in the mood for this now. That's going to be my next one. So Will's just reading his new book, Casino Royale. I'll come and sit this way, that's easier.
Oh, I'm getting involved, am I?
Yeah. Do you know what? People wanted to know how you liked Jane Eyre. Because you finished Jane Eyre the other day.
I loved it. Brilliant. It was like one of those classics that I just kind of didn't know any of the story about. And so it was, you know, just like reading any old book where you don't know anything about the plot. So
it's just like reading any old book. You heard it here first.
Insightful. Yeah, it was really good, really good. I don't even know where to start with that.
That's okay. No, I don't want to get into full Jane Eyre review.
I mean,
I was just wondering how you like it, but he's reading Casino Royale now. Only vintage books for our Will. It's all about, he's judging them by his cover.
Vintage or bust.
So we'll have a little read now, and then we can do fajitas in a, I don't know when you're hungry. When do you want to eat?
Like soon.
Oh, okay. I'm quite hungry as well, actually. All right, well, we'll eat a little bit and then have fajitas. So I'm about halfway through Mr. Loverman, I think. Oh, I'm more than halfway. That's cool, 2/3. So we read quite a lot last night. I read some this morning and some just now after work. And then I had a nap, so I'm feeling very groggy. I've got to start cooking dinner in a minute. But I'm feeling a bit like, ooh. But I'm really enjoying this. It's really cool. I really like Barry's voice. He's 74 years old, living in Stoke Newington in London, and he has been in love with his best friend Morris. They've had a relationship their whole lives, but they've both been married to women, and now Barry is at a point where he's like, should I divorce my wife? She thinks he's been having multiple affairs, and whether him and Morris should go and live together. And it jumps around in time, so you get perspectives. Mostly the voice is Barry's, which is so funny. I was actually like howling at laughter, the way he was kind of internally describing some of his wife's church friends and stuff. Like he's really, really funny. But we also get some from his wife's Carmel's perspective, and it jumps back in time to like when they met and got married in Antigua before coming to the UK, and it sort of, we get snippets of their lives when their children were small, and it's just an interesting look at people. That's all I can really say. Everybody's got different perspectives. Nobody in this book is perfect, like far from it. Everyone is very flawed, and I'm really enjoying seeing these relationships developed. So I might read a bit more of it later, although I think I'm probably just going to put my audiobook on now while I cook some dinner, and we'll see. Hey, I am greasy, I'm spotty, but that's fine. I'm sure you won't mind. We'll just roll with it. So if you can see, I've had like a rash the last couple of days that has come up, and my eyes went all rashy as well. I think I must have been bitten by something and had like a allergic reaction, but it's going down now. So I'm just feeling a bit icky and haven't really been putting anything on my skin just because it's been a bit sensitive. So I will probably look after it a bit later, give myself a bit of a mini facial or something. So yeah, I know that's not the question you had, is what is your skin routine, Lauren, but that's the information you got. In other news, however, I am very pleased because I finished all the books that I had on my list. So I finished Mr. Loverman the other night, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I know lots of people have absolutely loved this book, and I did enjoy the reading process of it. I think by the end of it, I just felt really sad for everyone, which has maybe tainted my experience, and I think it's just something unique perhaps to the way I like interacted with the book, because I was very impressed with the writing still, and I did really love it, but ultimately I felt a bit like, oh, that's a bit horrible, just because Barry and Carmel have been married for 50 years and neither one of them has been happy. Obviously Carmel because she had a husband that didn't love her, and Barry because he's gay and didn't love her, and then also Morris because they couldn't be together, and then Barry and Carmel's daughters being unhappy because their parents were in an unhappy marriage. And I think by the end of it I was just like, oh, this is just making me really sad. But I really appreciated how everyone was so complex and very flawed, and I loved just those little inklings you got of the different perspectives of each of the characters. I thought was very well done and very well balanced. So I did really enjoy it. I also then cheekily picked up The Seer by Ali Smith, which is a play that I've had for a very long time. And I read this initially because I think Jen got me and Jean copies of this for Christmas one year or something, and we literally sat there and read the first act of the play out to each other, and it was really fun. But because we kind of started reading it in person, we obviously didn't do the entire thing, then I just like put it away and didn't finish it, which is a bit strange. So I had forgotten quite a lot of it, to be fair, when I read it again, and it's really funny, and I really enjoyed Ali Smith's voice throughout this play, because you can really tell that like an author has written it, because she's not really leaving anything up to the director. She's like, this exact thing happens and these people do this and this is what they're thinking at this point, and you can really see how much control she wants to have over her characters and everything, but it means it's a very fun read. Whereas a lot of plays, depending on how they're written, they can be very fun to watch and see them interpreted, but they're a bit more difficult to read. And this is an extremely meta play about a Scottish couple where this woman just walks into their flat one day and says she's the woman's sister, even though she's not. And I guess the couple in general are just like so bored with their lives. They just go, yeah, here she is, it's Kirsty, it's your sister, and they just kind of go along with it. But then it becomes even more bizarre because the sister suddenly becomes aware of the audience and she can see them, and she realizes she's in a play. They get an audience member involved. It's very interesting, like look at, I guess, the nature of theatre and character development. I mean, I didn't even know if it's trying to say anything, but it was very entertaining. And my other big achievement is that I finished my audiobook, which has been, I mean, it was a long audiobook, it was a history book. It was, I want to say like 23 23 or 24 hours long or something like that, so it was quite long. But I'm so glad I stuck with it, because right at the beginning I was really not sure about it, just because it felt like a lot of lists of facts about Isabella's life, and I was like, I'm not really getting a story out of this. It's not so much a biography than just here are all the things we know about Isabella, and there didn't feel like there was a story coming through. But somebody commented in my last video, which I thought was very interesting, that because it's so far back in time, this is in the 1300s, we don't have very much evidence or information to go on. So it's quite easy for historians to almost get carried away and be like, well, this is all the information I do have. Let's look at her book of accounts for this year and see how much she spent on stockings that year, just because that's all we have to go on. So I think that is probably quite fair to this book. But towards the end of it, when we got to the actual meat of what was happening throughout her marriage, throughout the monarchy, like, it's just so, I didn't know enough about this period of history. I had no idea there was like a coup and Edward II got like bumped off, and it just sounds horrendous, like, to have lived through. So now it is Thursday and it is the 30th of July. And I think I've decided to give myself, today, obviously, because it's 30 books in 30 days, but I think I'm going to be sneaky and give myself Friday as well, so that it's the whole of July that I'm incorporating into this challenge. And I have one more book that I'm going to try and read, and what I've decided to pick up is The Book You Wish Your Parents Had Read by Philippa Perry. And yeah, I've been wanting to read this for a while, just because obviously me and Will do want to start a family at some point, but I just find the way children's minds develop, how they learn, I find it really interesting. So this, ordinarily, a non-fiction book like this wouldn't be something I'd want to read particularly quickly, or at least not force myself to read it quickly, but I know that this sort of psychology, I don't know, this kind of non-fiction, I just know I do read it quickly because I find it so interesting. So I think it's probably quite likely by tomorrow I will finish this. I've had a little bit of a read after work. I'll read a little bit more this evening, and then I've got tomorrow as well. And to be honest, I've already got probably about a quarter of the way through it already. And it's a very interesting look at, or so far, how parents pass on their own insecurities to their children and the behaviour that they learnt from their parents, and how easy it is to replicate those parenting techniques, either good or bad, with your own children. And so far she's been talking a lot about how you should think about your own emotions, your own childhood, try and work through what makes you tick, like what pushes your buttons, what makes you angry, so that you can be aware of that if your children push those buttons within you. So far, really enjoying it. I'll see how it goes. It has been the hottest day of the year today, a cool 34 degrees. It has been, I have been tested, I'm not gonna lie, it's been very, very hot enough there, although we've tried to like keep all the windows closed and not let the sun come in. So it's not as bad as it could have been. We've had the fan going while we've been working in the other room. But it's just a struggle, because it's the end of the day now, but it's not getting any cooler, so I'm really struggling to motivate myself to do anything really. I just kind of want to go to sleep already. But I'm about 2/3 of the way through The Book You Wish Your Parents Had Read, so I'm going to keep reading that now while Will's just finishing off work, and then we're going to order some pizza for this evening. And I've put a bottle of rosé in the fridge. Oh my god, I cannot wait for some like relaxing Friday cool liquids, just some cool drinks. It'd be lovely. I'm very much enjoying it so far. It's difficult to summarise something like this, which is non-fiction and I guess self-help in a way, but just because it encompasses so many different aspects of parenting and child rearing. But the main message is really trying to understand your child's point of view, understand their emotions, and like respond to it, and let them know that that you are responding to their emotions in its simplest form. But there's one bit, they've got to a bit where I called out to Will and I was like, oh Will, I found myself in the book. And it was like a case study of this guy who doesn't like to be told something. Like, he doesn't like people telling him things. He just wants to be right all the time. And I was like, oh, hello. So that was quite useful. It's got lots of exercises in between the like the chapters and the case studies as well, for you to like self-reflect and do some of your own kind of therapy, I suppose, self-therapy, or just look at, you know, how your own emotions and how you react to certain triggers and stuff. So yeah, it's very enlightening. We're really struggling. It's very hot and we have all our windows open now because it's the evening and we've got the fan on us and it's just very hot. We just watched Bridge on the River Kwai, which is okay.
Is it over the River Kwai or on
Bridge
the River
on
Kwai?
the River Kwai. It's very of its time, but it was quite exciting. We're trying to go through a load of classic films that we just haven't seen, so we've made a whole list of things that have like won Oscars or something like that, just famous films, and we're trying to go through them fairly chronologically. So it's kind of a good excuse when you don't know what to watch on a Friday evening. I am about 20 pages away from the end of this book, so I am determined to finish it tonight. There's obviously a lot of information in there which is going in. I don't know how much it's staying in there because I'm obviously reading it fairly quickly, but I think it's the kind of book that I can definitely dip in and out of as and when I do have children and need to refer to it. I think we're just going to try and cool down for now, for the rest of the evening. But on finishing this book, that will be 17 books in July, which I'm quite pleased with. I don't think I've ever read that many books in a month in my life before, so that's a quite nice achievement. I will look forward to wrapping up all of these books that I've read in my next video, so I'll see you then. Bye.